Alright, gonna make another quick update here, working on this Kawasaki, on this engine rebuild. So, it is once again cold in South Louisiana. It is late. It is 40 something degrees in here. So, I'm not exactly keen on staying out here. I'm hungry, I'm tired, it's cold. But, what I'm gonna try and do this evening, move coolant lines, remove the carburetor and intake manifold, possibly remove the exhaust header, this engine mount here, and see whether or not I am cursed to remove the entire engine assembly, or if by removing this engine mount I can get the top end off. Because I haven't found any service data whether or not you have to remove the engine to do this job, or if I can remove this engine mount and get everything off. I'm hoping I can do it the easy way, because pulling the whole engine literally from here to here is the gearbox, the belt drive, everything is all one piece on this. Granted, I'm sure it's not terrible, but if it's anything like other four-wheelers, you have to pull both differentials because you have to pull the drive shafts, both ends. That's a lot more work than I'm cut out for at the moment. I could do it, but this thing would probably go in storage for a while because I have other projects I got to get on to. So, without further stalling and delay, I've been stalling for several weeks now. I'm going to try and get at least some work done. We'll start, I guess, with the carburetor and that engine mount, because once I crack open those coolant lines, there's going to be water all over the place and a little bit of antifreeze. Yeah, that's about it. I already removed the intake snorkel. So, let me throw you all in a clickety-clack tripod and let's get started. Alright, it's probably going to be shaky. Got y'all kind of zoomed in here a little bit right there on Mr. Carburetor. Please excuse the shakiness. I am sorry. I'm going to go ahead and remove carburetor, intake manifold. Just try and just lay it off to the side so I don't have to deal with these cables. I may still have to pull at least the choke. I already have, the fuel line disconnected when I pulled the tank. So let's say start things off. Need a Phillips drive. Let's get this little guy all to do the job. Should be enough to get that loose. What I need to do, pull this choke cable. This thing's got enough hoses on it. Alright, there's Mr. Carburetor out the way. We have a very stiff fuel line here. Definitely need a wrench for that one. You can just watch and listen to me mumble to myself as I do this. I do that anyway. People probably think I'm nuts. See what I can do if I can't get at least started. If I make a little progress every day, I might, get motivated. Just did my taxes yesterday. That has me very unmotivated. I owed money because of stupid YouTube money, because it's 1099. So it's considered self-employment income, and therefore you get double taxed. And somehow or another, I guess I met the next tax bracket, so what I usually pay in taxes wasn't quite enough to the state this year, so I ended up owing, to some people wouldn't be pennies, but to me quite a lot of money. Meaning, like, I'm going to have to wait like 2 months to pay on my credit card, which sucks. So I'm looking at the next 3 months being broke, basically, because of that. Not fun, but hopefully with the projects I just picked up, maybe, one of them can break me even. carburetor's out of the way. Let's see, Mr. Choke Cable, we're going to pull you out of the way. Just up here. Just to get it kind of out of harm's way and out of my way and out of everybody's way. Let's see what I can do about this here. Engine mount. Should think 14 millimeter would fit if this whole 8 millimeter wasn't in the way. Yes, it is a 14 millimeter. Can't turn it because there's an 8 millimeter in the way. Alright. Regular should be able to fit on this side. Correct. And my other one on this side. White. Tight. Another thing I'm seeing is an external oil line for the top end of this motor. It looks like I'm seeing at least one. I'm not a fan of that because I don't think my gasket kit came with new crush washers for banjo fittings. We'll have to see about that. We've got that guy loose. Let's see where these oil lines go. There's a thermostat. Oil line goes all the way down to the case. So that's not cool. This wiring harness is like dead in the way. Probably going to need to move my ignition coil too. Go ahead and finish pulling this engine mount bolt out. Until it seizes up. It's like one of those things, you know, 40 degrees really isn't that cold, but I'm tired. Ready to go home, sit in my chair, be lazy, drink a cold drink, see what's for dinner. Hopefully something good for dinner. If not, ramen noodles. As much as I'd like to order out, I can't. Because El Presidente says I owe more money this year. Even though I haven't made really anything more. Which is really frustrating. I'm trying to see what my bolt size is for this upper engine mount here. Threading through all the hoses and stuff is kind of frustrating. Okay. Let's see if we can just swing that out the way. I can't get to it because there's like 10 things on the way right here. It's not the best place. That does move. That's good. That much. That's how much it moves. So let's go the other way. This way. Yes. Alright, I guess Mr. Ignition Coil's turn. Let's get that out the way. 10 millimeter. feeling that is going to want to snap off on me. It's about that kind of day, kind of week, maybe even that kind of year. I'm really hoping this comes off without having to pull the whole motor out. I'll take it from being, you know, what would be a couple hours that I'm dragging out to being a lot longer. To being a lot longer than a couple hours. What I'm going to do, look at the corrosion on that bad boy. It's funny, is a lot of stuff on here ain't rusty. Just a couple things. Don't listen to tool abuse. Actually, you probably couldn't hear that. The microphone on this thing is like terrible. I noticed if I make a loud noise, it auto corrects the sound and it cuts everything out for like a minute straight. You know what? I would fix it, but I'm lazy. Oh, that's pleasant. That is how the spark plug came unplugged. Alrighty then. It worked before. Not exactly a fan of that. I mean, it's a little 2-pole coil. I mean, it's not like they're hard to get. That's annoying. Alright, we have engine mount out of the way. Yes, Mr. Oil. Let me see if I have a spare that came with a gasket. I'm not seeing any. I see O-rings. I see valve stem gaskets, O-rings, head gasket, top gasket, bottom gasket, an intake manifold gasket, but I'm not seeing the other ones. So maybe there's a chance that that little guy doesn't have a gasket. I do know, I think my next order of business is going to be the exhaust manifold. Oh, that looks fun. It's a double. I guess that's why they have 2 manifold gaskets. I thought that was like in case you had to stack it. Okay, so this is just like the Yamaha engine that used to be on the Rhino I had. The Yamaha had 2 intake runners and 2 exhaust runners. I was like, that's crazy. Well, it's a 4-valve motor, so this might be a 3-valve. Whatever it is, there's an individual runner for each valve. But that means instead of having to worry about 2 exhaust manifold bolts seizing up and snapping off, I have to worry about 4. Get out the penetrating oil. Go ahead and give everybody a little soaking down. Just give everybody a little bit. Don't be shy. I'm not going to worry about these guys at the moment. You know, this is the reason why we wash things before we work on them. Barely see the bad ones in there. Alrighty. Well, I still don't know where it has to have an oil drain, I would think. Something else, I can't do too much with this little guy. It has a T down here that's soldered in, like factory. I'm sure that doesn't do kindly to being yanked on. Alright, we're going to do, I'm going to pop off, I guess, this coolant hose here, get it out of my way. All of this is like annoying. What is this? This vent line or something. I don't know what it is, but like you would think that this like would be up out of the way. This is a wire loom. It's like hard to see stuff. I've got random wires here that are unplugged. Who knows what they went to? Alright, so I think I'm going to pull the lower radiator hose here. And this radiator hose. I need to look at my new cylinder here. It's going to go like this. So I'm going to pull this radiator hose too. They got some coolant passages in this thing. A cam chain thing. Alright, so radiator hose will start with that. I'll actually be surprised. If you actually watch this video, comment for me. Because I don't know if I'm filming these, you know, just because I'm bored. Or if people actually do watch it, you know, I'd be surprised. It could be a pleasant surprise. Come on. Not one of those. That's like, you know, it's hard to explain, you know, just have a rough day. Come out here. I don't feel like working on stuff, but you know, sometimes you just gotta get, you know, do it. Like, what's his name from Transformers? Just do it. I can't remember his name right off. I know he was like all over the news for a while, and now it's all gone quiet again. Alright. Those clamps are loose. Screwdriver. I'm probably going to call it here because once I get all this water all on the ground, I'm probably not going to want to do anything anymore. I mean, it's raining outside. It's going to be damp in here. I'm tired. I'm done. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. About to have a depressive episode again or something. Oh no, we do have antifreeze in there. I thought it was almost empty. So, I need a catchment for that. So I'd rather not dump that on the ground in here. I don't have any containers to put antifreeze in. Well, that's not cool. Very not cool. I don't have any containers for antifreeze. And I don't know how much I've got. Mind me walking around making the building shape. Got a container. I'll make it work. Show y'all how to make a redneck container. So I've got this 1 gallon jug I usually use for thermoside, as you see. I'm going to go ahead and modify it into an antifreeze catch bottle. And try not to cut myself while I'm at it. Because you know, the day wouldn't be perfect unless I managed to do something stupid like that. Kind of annoying because now I'm going to go to do thermicide treatments on trees in a couple months when they decide to start swarming again, and I'll be missing my body. So, go ahead and drain a little bit out of there so it doesn't make a mess. away somewhere. That looks good. Now we're going to pull that lower one, which is probably going to make a big mess. Let's see. There's somebody making a racket outside. I don't know who would be around right now. Ooh, this one stuck good. Be careful, because I think this thing is made of plastic. And I'd rather not be replacing something. Oh, you're just going to pop into a huge mess. I already tried removing this. The screws are totally rusted and solidified in. So that's not happening. I'm probably going to get antifreeze on me in just a second. Alright, wood 4 will soak it up eventually. That is the worst of it's going to be in that. Oh boy. There's actually not that much in there. There should be a lot more in this. Well, how this top hose had coolant in it, and this one barely in. Curious. Unless I got this one kinked. No. I don't think so. Just being finicky. Alright. Well, there's some antifreeze. They caught literally, if you were taking a shot, a sip of it. That's about it. Far less than I expected. So it was definitely overheating when I ran it last. Alright, let's see. Something I am going to do is grab some zip ties and zip tie that stupid wire line out of my way. Because it's going to end up frustrating me because it wants to fall right where you're trying to work. Out of the way. Alright, now, I guess, I'm getting 8mm. I might crack these valve cover bolts off, or the top end bolts, and see what I got going on in there, and see if that'll come off. If that comes off, it means I should be able to take the head off. It'll clear more room. Hey. Maybe. Baby gear wrench. Pull that off to access that, and I gotta use a regular ratchet for all of them. So be it. That also means I need to get me a piece of cardboard so I can put these where they belong. Oh, those are not happy either. And there goes the socket. Somewhere. I don't know where that thing went now. Not there. Alright, flashlight time. Still going. How long we've been filming? 24 minutes. Alright, I'll find the socket, maybe crack that valve cover loose, and I'll call it, because 24 minutes is pushing it. I know the YouTube algorithm says you're not supposed to go over 15 because it loses audience retention and therefore messes up your your score. I don't know why I'm concerned about it, because the money I make on it kind of jips me out at the end of the year. I don't know where. Instead of losing a 10mm, I lost an 8mm. Nope. Oh, this bucket leaks. That's nice. Alright then. No idea where that 10mm went. 8mm, not 10mm. Alright. There's another problem with this shed I'm working in. You can't get around anything. If I had this thing like up in the air, it wouldn't be so bad. If we could get to the other side, I would have seen it. Let's see what the intake side valve thing looks like. Real quick, we'll take this little cover off, see what's what, and I think I'll call this video. See, there's stuff like, you know, I could take and edit, but it's just not worth it for me. You know, if my channel was big and, you know, I got like 50,000 views on this video, it might be worth it, but it's just not. It's not worth it for me to, you know, take hours of my time to edit a video that 16 people are going to watch. I would love to, you know, produce better quality, but it's just not worth it. So there's the valves. It's all one piece. Everything seems tight and nicely adjusted. I don't know if we're on stroke or not. It doesn't seem to be. Don't seem too unhappy. Can't tell. It does look like our valve train is part of the valve cover. It's interesting. I'm used to seeing, like on the Hondas and stuff, you can pull the little covers off and adjust the valves. You can pull the whole valve cover off and you still have the rockers and everything sitting there. This, it looks like they come off with the top end, so that's interesting. I'm not quite sure how I am going to do that. What I am sure I'm going to do is put this little cover back on so nothing falls in there. And I'm going to call it an evening because I'm going to have to try and do some research on something I can't find research on. Because that's going to be like a whole nother level of crazy. I would figure though, you know. But yeah, that's it. So this is your, I guess, part 2 or part 3 of trying to start taking it apart. Once again, I'd like to do better quality, but I just don't have the time for it, and it's not worth it. You know, if y'all watch this video and you think it is worth it, throw me a comment below. Try and raise my spirits a little. Maybe I'll put some more effort into it, but I'm not putting effort into it for 16 people in a video that I'll make 5 cents on. It's just, you know, too many hours. It's easier for me to come out here, be by myself, and think than to try and explain what I'm doing on camera. So, with all that said, and my depression coming alive, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Comment, rate, subscribe. Have a better day than me.